everybody. So I gathered from the introductions that we have some users of Jaspersoft. Some of you might have already seen what I'm going to show, but this is our latest version, version 5.5, released at the end of October. So perhaps even the users here haven't seen some of the new features that we're introducing. And I'll start by kind of repeating some of the items that Carl mentioned. That really this is think about Jaspersoft as a web application and HTML5 ready and focus on being embedded. And everything I'm going to show you throughout the presentation, think about it as something you can use within your intelligent site strategy. What you're seeing right here is our new Jaspersoft 5.5 homepage. And for those of you who are familiar with the old homepage, you'll notice some significant improvements when you think about usability, which was kind of our focus. The homepage is designed to make your end user, whether they know what they're looking for or not, have a very easy way to start interacting and using the BI platform. In a case they're using us as the main platform of this embedded solution. The 6 kind of cubics here are the 6 main components that you will need to interact with Jaspersoft and create and explore your data. We have the data sources, which is the way for us to connect to any data source. Like Carl said, we can connect natively to Mongo, Cassandra, Hadoop. We can also connect to all the relational data stores. And this is how you will configure that. Domains, which are basically the layer, metadata layer, or I would say a business layer, on top of your distributed tables that allows your end users to interact with data in an easy way in terminology that they understand. Instead of going to tables in a database, they're going into a business matrix. And I'll show you how that works, of course, later on. Reports, which are the smallest way to visualize data, a simple way to show specific data to the users. Dashboards, which are a way to tell a broader story on multiple reports. Our ad hoc view, which is probably the most powerful part of the platform. In a sense, it provides your end user a way to explore and interact with the user to find their own insights in the data. And of course, administration, which is, at the end of the day, we say it's a platform, you're just a report generator. You can really add this into a multi-tenant solution across different organization users and administrators from within the server. I'll start kind of from, I would say, bottom up and show you a little bit how that works. So first and foremost, our reports. So when we think about report, think about way to provide specific data to the user in a very meaningful and interactive way. Now what I mean interactive is that all our reports in Jaspersoft that we'll provide are HTML5 ready, and once you deploy them, they are not only customizable to whatever look and feel you want, but they're interactive. For example, once we have this is a simple report that shows sales information, your end user accessing this report can then interact with the data, explore the charts, zoom into the data, and in cases that you provided in development, so filters, also be able to filter data and play with the input control from within the reports. So really, when you deploy reports, it can be either pixel perfect or more detailed reports, you can think of it as not a single unit, but your user now have a chance to interact and not explore, and we'll see later in the ad hoc, but get some more, make it more personalized. A better example of this, go back out here, is another small report that will show another type of chart we have, our Sparkline chart. But what I want to show here is that every report can also be interactive, in a sense that you can, of course, drill down into more detailed, pixel-perfect reporting. Now, from any report, you can jump into a different report that will give a lot more information, and reports can get into this level of pixel-perfect, PDF-ready for end users. So if you're a sales organization, and you want to print your orders or print the list of users each of your sales individuals needs to go through, and you want them to be scanned with a barcode, this can be done, and the executives can see a cohesive list and then drill down into the relevant people and generate those reports. These, of course, can be either saved as a PDF and exported, and at the same time, they can be saved as a reports for the end user. Now, once we actually get to these reports, every component in the report is interactive. So if you see this table here, we can now interact with the data. So we can sort, we can format, we can filter, and this is personal. So me as a user, I can configure it and personalize to my own use case, and a different user will go and do it for himself. They're both using that same report on the server, but they both customize it differently. And what we'll see is that, for example, if I want, for example, as a manager, to decide to put some rules that conditional formatting, that I say that any sales which are greater than 10 or greater than $8 are amazing, it's as easy as doing it from within the report and get this information. Equals, of course, will not be the one to give me that result. And we get this information. Now, when I go and export this report, or if I go and decide to save this report, I now save it into my customized way. So you only need to develop one report. Each one of your users can then customize for themselves. Now, this was now what I showed you now is basically kind of specific reports. They have a lot of details, they're pixel perfect. But what if you want to tell a bigger story? So now we go into our dashboard. So Carl showed one of our dashboards in his slides, but I want to show you how it looks like live, and moreover, how the dashboard, how we can, in essence, create this dashboard right now in a matter of minutes. So what we see here is a dashboard. Notice the colors are completely different. So as we said, everything is customizable. Everything is ready for you to embed. So you can change the look and feel of the reports and the dashboards. And if we look at how this is made, a dashboard is simply a combination of reports. So I can right now, in a very simple way, go to our online dashboard designer, and within the dashboard, add the relevant report component that I want to have. So if I want, for example, we've seen this report right here, top 5. I will size both of them to content. And in essence, within my web application, I now created a dashboard that I can share with my users. And this can be, of course, done to any reports component you build. So some users would like to have specific reports, some might want bigger stories. And you can do all this in a matter of minutes once you build the reports within the application. Now, once we look at reports and dashboards, the end of the data tells a specific story. You can interact, you can manipulate the data, but it's for very basic users. If you're a business user and you want to find and explore your data and identify insights, well, you need a more powerful tool. And that's where ad hoc views come into play. Ad hoc views are basically our data exploration tool. And they sit on top of what we call either topics, domains, or any all-up analysis cube, where topics are basically can queries that bring data into our in-memory engine for exploration. And domains are those metadata layers that you can write on top of your data so your business users can interact with the data. So, for example, for now, I'm going to use our supermarket domain, which is one of our sample domains. This is basically the business layer on top of a relatively simple sales data. You can see already that I have in that domain multiple data points, sales, inventory, expenses. These are the terms that your end user will interact with. They don't interact with table, DWH, fact, whatever. They interact with business data, business terminology. Now let's explore the data quickly and see how we can identify some insight together. So I'm an executive in the store, and I want to see what strategy we need to take into account when deciding how much square feet our store needs to be in a specific region. So I can, from within the data exploration tool, choose the fields for exploration I want. So I'll start with adding the districts, which is the areas I'm looking at. Then I'll add our measures, which is store sales. And this is all by simple double clicking. And then I'm going to go to my store features and add square feet. Now, using our data sliders, we can then explore the data. Now, this in a bar chart is not really meaningful. You can't really identify any insight. But if you want to see correlation, we can simply within this tool change the chart type into a scatter, and we suddenly see a different story unveiling. Suddenly we see that as square feet goes up, so does store sales. Now, and more advanced business users using Green's terminology can play with the data. If you're looking for specific insights, change the visualization, change the filtering, and then identify insight. Now, once you do that, the beauty of the tool is that you can now, which by the way, all the exploration is done in our in-memory engine, you can now save it as a report for the basic user. So you were able to identify a valuable data point that should be tracked, and you can now save it as a report that can be embedded for all your end users. And this is kind of the story behind our ad hoc. And if you think about everything, and I'm going to show it to you in a second, everything is embeddable. Let me show you a quick sample that you saw in Carl's presentation. We have, what's the right one? This is a blank report. So this is the ad hoc view that Carl showed you in his slide, and really it can get really complex. If you have data scientists in your organization that really can do some more advanced analysis of the data, you can really get into very advanced analytics, anything from like a more advanced scatter chart with multiple dimensions. So we created, we have a server, we have an organization, it's a multi-tenant solution, and we create all our reports, but we want to embed at the end of the day. So what does it mean basically for the end user, and what does it mean for you? What I have right here is your application. So this is a website where basically it's a web application run as a website, and for you, it can be yours, it can be anybody else's, and it's we would never know this is a Jaspersoft application. But what you see already is that we have here a login. So we have some sort of a login mechanism to this application. So Jaspersoft allows for a single sign-on and integration. So you can, apart from embedding your reports, and I'll show you how it looks like in a second, you can really have even the login flow within the same interaction. So what I'm going to do right now is log in to the application. That's always good. I think Carl, you know if the
server down.
The server down, or let me see. Yeah, I think it's the proxy and the hotel gave me some issues earlier. So what I'm gonna, this might not be fully as I wanted to show, but I can still show you what the main things we want to show here is that the application right now basically can render your reports in multiple ways, all those components we showed earlier. From reports, which can be pulled either with a RESTful API or with an iframe, or what's called mentioned, our new beta version of our Visual.js, which is our new JavaScript framework for embedded. And when you embed, you'll see that all the capabilities that you just saw within the server will be available for your users once you embed it with your application. So I'm looking right now in the same ad hoc designer that I played with earlier. As you see, everything is the same. So the interactions you can do with the reports is the same. The data sliders or the data exploration tools will be the same. And all this will be available for your users. So you can embed as simple as a report to a more advanced implementation and give full ad hoc capabilities, exploration within your application. So as you can see, all the reports, and look, but notice that by the way, look and feel, the colors, you don't even know it's Jaspersoft. It's all embedded, it's all within your application, and it's all including all HTML5 components. So later in today, we're going to demonstrate a little bit about how we work with AWS. One of the things that is important to mention is everything you see in this platform, this web application is cloud ready. So it can easily deploy into the cloud and integrate it into cloud ecosystems, which is a key differentiator as we see it. And can, from a data source perspective, and I'll show how it works later, can connect and work with any data source, whether it being big data or relational. And with this, I think that since we don't have some of the capabilities here, I covered most of the things that we are the main capabilities of Jaspersoft. We saw reporting, we saw dashboards, bigger stories, we've seen our ad hoc exploration tool, and then you saw how we can take all these functionalities, all those capabilities, and embed them within any application. Thank you very much.